Hey guys, it's Brio, back with another video. Today I'm talking about how RSD Tyler's socializing method can be explained through Jordan Peterson's framework of the psyche. It's not exactly Jordan Peterson's framework, it is Jung's, but he uses it and it's who I learnt it from. And I'm going to be explaining it, a simplified version of it, in this video. And the reason I'm doing that is because RSD Tyler has some really great ideas, but he's explains them with a lot of spiritual or language, because at the base of socializing is the human psyche, and it's not like a computer where we can get to the bottom of like the ones and zeros of it. We have sort of no idea how the inner workings of consciousness or the human psyche work. We have some idea, but it's definitely not a mechanical thing yet, or maybe ever. So using sort of more macro language to explain it is really helpful, but I think a lot of the time it gets lost in the weeds. And I think from studying a lot of Jordan Peterson, especially books Maps of Meaning, explains it in a way that would made a lot more sense to me, and hopefully make a lot more sense to other people. So I'll start off by explaining Jordan Peterson's model of the psyche. So essentially what it is the human psyche is made up of a loose integration of subpersonalities. So what does that mean? If you've seen the movie Inside Out, it's basically a lot of many sort of like people that all fight over control of like this girl's like actions. So I think they got like 5 characters in there, but essentially the same idea but much more complex. And the reason you would think of them as, I guess, many people, some would say spirits, that's an idea of like where archaic people came up with that idea of deities or spirits, was because these psychological forces or these subpersonalities act like spirits, meaning they possess you. And so to give an example of that, I'll go through anger and how that can be seen as sort of like a mini person controlling you or possessing you. So first is anger it's a feeling in your body. So, and you can't really control, you can control to some extent whether you're angry or not, but that's something, a lot of spiritual practices are about this. Meditation and stuff like that is controlling those psychological forces. But at the end of the day, the idea is you're not the master in your own house. So there's a feeling. So anger is like a feeling. This comes out in body language. So if you've got a bit of anger in you, even though you might not be able to suppress it, or it can still show up in like sort of, although we can suppress it or we can hide it, it still shows up a little bit. And the more angry we are, the harder it is to suppress, and it can show through our actions. So maybe like I'm walking down the street and I don't know, if I had a confrontation with someone, I might do like some passive aggressive actions, or I might mumble something under my breath, and I might regret it later. But like in the moment, it's too fast, like the anger is too high that you show that body language and you do those actions. Next, it's RAS, so it's what you focus in the world. So the world is made up of an infinite array of information. Just I'm in this room right now. I could literally spend the next 70 odd years of my life in this room, assuming I had food and water, just analyzing every little detail of it. I could, I don't know, take this apart and organize it in an infinite amount of ways. Everything here has infinite amount of uses. But if we see the world like that, and apparently a lot of drug experiences can do this, we'll just sit in one place and be overwhelmed by the infinite amount of information. So our mind filters out 99.9%, 999% of what we see, and has our RAS feature to focus in on what's important. And the subpersonalities, so in this case anger, will ignore everything in the world except the stuff that pertains to their anger. A better example of this would be hunger. So if you're thinking hunger, you're like walking through the street and, you know, you're walking past, you know, the shops and you see, okay, there's like a bakery. Oh man, I really want some cakes. I really want this like nice bread. You walk past, I don't know, some sandwich shop. Oh, I want the sandwich. Walk past a burger place. Oh man, I feel like burgers. Ice cream. It's like focusing on that and ignoring most of the other stuff around you. And you can see how that would work with anger as well. Also, RES sort of does this with memories. So you have infinite amount of memories, but it brings up those memories that sort of feed that sub-personality. So for anger, I can notice that sometimes I'll just be in a sort of angry mood, and then I'll like remember like a confrontation I had in the past. So I don't know why there's this one. I had this sort of, I was just driving my car and this guy cut in front of me and then brake checked me, and I got really annoyed about it. There's more to that story, but that I can see myself sometimes when I'm angry, and this has nothing to do with what I'm like working on at the moment, but just because I'm angry and the anger sort of wants more fuel to get bigger, I'll have like old memories pop up of like experiences that made me angry. And this brings us to also thoughts and goals. So it will also spring up thoughts, the sub-personality thoughts of how to sort of act in the future. Or like hunger is a good example. Like you'll just be working and then your sort of hunger level will rise, and then suddenly you'll get thoughts of, okay, I kind of want a peanut butter sandwich, or I kind of want to go to the kitchen and check out what's there. And these progress to goals, where you can have like a top sort of goal you're working towards, which you use to sort of see how well you're progressing to satisfying that sub-personality. If you read Maps of Meaning, in his chapter about valence, positive, negative emotion, sort of guiding you towards the goal, he explains a lot there. The goal can be a sub-personality in itself, and sub-personalities can combine together to create a top goal. For example, you might have a dream job, like an idea of a dream job you want that you're pursuing, and this is a bunch of sub-personalities. So it's hunger, because the job gives you money, which will give you food for the future, shelter and security, also social status, your desire for like an intimate relationship, because it'll give you social status, this job, and then people will find you more attractive. And then you can have that goal at the top, and then your movement towards that goal will focus your sort of your feelings, your body language, action, sort of, especially your RAS, and your thoughts and your actions. And actions is the next one. Actions with thought is sort of the last level. And so you can see this bottom sub-personality springs up and sort of possesses you in a way, and you have all these different sub-personalities like sort of fighting or integrating together to create sub-personality. And where this is super important to understanding RSD Tyler's socializing method is, so he will talk about the having, doing, and being paradigm. And so when people go out to socialize, the lowest level paradigm is the having paradigm. They're like, I need to have all this cool stuff. I need the money, I need the clothes, I need the looks. Then people will be able to like me. Next level is the doing paradigm. And they're like, okay, I need to go up to people and I need to do all this stuff. So I need to roll my shoulders back. I need good vocal percussion. I need good eye contact. And I need to know what to say. I need to organize. Okay, I need all these stories I need to be able to tell. And that's the next level up. That's the doing paradigm, which is sort of where socializing or the PU people started with, canned stories or whatever. And then the third level is the being paradigm. And this is what RSD Tyler talks about a lot, and he's trying to explain a lot of the time. I think this is a way of explaining it. The being paradigm is the underlying sub-personality that's controlling the body language, RAS, thoughts, and actions, and memory. And so it's like the thing that's possessing you in the first place, to have that, instead of, okay, working it from the opposite way down, like the actions, just like looking at that top level, just like the actions or like the speech, it's going from the bottom up, and it's seeing what controls that speech in the first place, and being able to change that, what you are being, that sub-personally underneath that is animating you. And so he has all these different methods when he's talking about the being, but he gets frustrated because people don't seem to understand what the being is. And so what he's mainly focused on is changing that underlying being, and he talks about all these different methods like meditation, what you eat, like going out, how you like feel in your body, how you're self-amused, and learning to pay attention to that underlying sub-personality and see how it changes through time is like the most important thing, and it was helped me the most, definitely, because it's not like changing sub-personality is like changing clothes. It's sort of like, it's like waves, and you're trying to navigate this waves sort of emotion within yourself, and being able to see, okay, where are these waves moving? How can I utilize that to put me in a better position? And so that's sort of the conscious mind that's just behind all the emotions can sort of do. It can sort of steer a bit, but that takes a lot of practice, and understanding how they work. So taking it back to socializing example, the way to use this framework to get better socially and get better in that underlying being aspect of it is, so when you go out, and I've just came out of, I live in Melbourne, Australia. We're in the longest lockdown, so I'm just starting this again. But when you go out to a bar or club or something, what inhabits you, like the sub-personality, is like a fear or apathy. And so this controls your body language, your RAS, what you're focusing on, your thoughts, and essentially where you don't want to approach anyone, you just sort of want to go home, you make up tons and tons of excuses. Your RS focuses on all the things that, okay, if I do this, I'm going to look like a creep. Oh man, I look really weird right now. You focus on me. You're just like in your little shell. And what I've found when I've been successful in the past is, okay, you got that fear, you notice it, you don't go, oh man, I wish it could just go away. Okay, it's part of you. You deal with it, you breathe through it. And then first, especially if you're a bar or club, is willpower. Willpower through, okay, you do the approaches, you just start talking. You forget about the outcome, you try, and I think with that like 5%, what I focus on is funny. And not funny to like make them laugh, because that's, again, you're sort of trying to appease that fear, get validation, you're thirsty for validation, but just making yourself laugh. And essentially you go to people and you spend like 30 seconds max with like the random people. So you have a group of people, blah, 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 talk, try and say some stuff that you think's funny to yourself. For me, I talk about like Mormonism or something like that. I just think it's funny. And so I go from there. 10, 15, 30 seconds. Boom. Next person. 30 seconds. Just random talking about dumb stuff. Boom, boom, boom. And what happens is you go from that 95% fear and terrified and apathy, oh, I don't want to approach, I'm so tired, oh, it's like the hardest thing in the world, to that 5% of like funny starts to grow a bit. It's like 10% and 90% fear. And then the next approach is like 15% funny and 85% fear. And it just starts to grow and grow. And you feel inside you, I'm becoming more confident. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And you're like, wow, this thing that took so much energy to like just go out and approach someone is starting to like become the easiest thing in the world. And because you're doing it more, you're becoming more comfortable doing it. People are liking you because you're not caring about what you about appeasing them. You're just caring about being funny, and as a result of making yourself laugh, you sort of have that well within you where like other people are like, this guy's like pretty funny. Or aura would be another way of thinking it. So you keep going and going and going, and eventually it's sort of like the underlying subpersonality starts to slowly shift to a funny, confident side of you, and it just makes all the difference when you do that. And so this is something, and he talks about awakening a lot. That the most important thing he's got out of the socializing was not the intimate experiences, although that's been fun. And I'll say this as well, it's been the same, like intimate experiences have been fun, but that awakening, or that feeling of, oh my gosh, like this huge weight of just social anxiety, of being stifled, just falling off for a while, and you're just this fun, confident guy, and you've learned to change that underlying subpersonality from fear to fun, confidence. And he uses different examples about like vibrations and stuff like that, but I think this is a good way of understanding it. I've also linked some videos down in the description that has Jordan Peterson talking about these sort of ideas. I think I'll link one of his lectures and the exact point where he talks about subpersonalities, so you can get a better understanding of it. But this is really effective, and yeah, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I've got a lot more coming in the future. Also, please follow my Instagram. I'm planning on posting some stuff there pretty soon. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you guys later.